Hey, this is Terry, and you're listening to episode 301. Let's get started.
Here we go!
Welcome to TerryWilson3.com, the show committed to helping you grow, protect, and enjoy your money, business, and life.
Wanted to get with you. This is really something that seems to be scratching a lot of itches, and it looks like it's pretty lucrative.
Well, it's one of the best business decisions that I've made, becoming a rep.
My intent now is being in that call center is letting people know this is the real deal. You will make money, and you don't have to have a product to promote. Just get in that call center and take calls, read a script. You will make money.
I started my own personal business 10 days ago. On Friday, I have my first 2 sales come through, and I have more pending. You do the activity, you take the time, you talk to the people.
You will make money.
I am in love with it. I don't know any other way to put it.
I really appreciate all the value you give. It's a lot, man. I look up to you a lot. You're kind of a leader in an industry where there's lots of BS.
And by the way, I love your swag. This is the Terry Wilson. Really? I'm excited, Terry. All right, I want to get started here.
This is Terry Wilson, and you are listening to my podcast here at TerryWilson3.com. I hope you are having a wonderful start of the new year. We had a tremendous live podcast last week, last Thursday, as a matter of fact. It was episode 300, and we had right at 100 people on the live podcast. We offered free tickets to our upcoming seminar in March 29th, 30th, and 31st. It's a 3-day seminar here in Greenville, South Carolina, and we're going to show you, we're calling this the 500K plan. If you want to earn $500,000 a year or more, working for yourself, starting your own business online, we are going to show you step by step how to do it in this workshop. We still have a few free tickets left. If you want to take advantage of that, we'll show you how to do that. Just go to episode 300 at our podcast, and we'll show you how to get free tickets at. If those tickets, by the time you hear this podcast, are gone, you can buy those tickets with the link in this particular podcast here. We're selling them for $12.97. That gives you 3-day access to the seminar, and we're going to be able to spend breakout sessions, one-on-one time with you and all that, giving you the technical ability, giving you the sales ability, giving you the marketing strategies, everything you need from top to bottom, showing you how you can launch your own home-based online business, putting your earnings and your income and everything you do on autopilot. Listen, if you're not reaching your full potential in your career for such a time as this, I don't know of a better time in history where it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from. Entrepreneurialism is the great equalizer. When you've got a regular job, your success in that job is contingent upon office and management, politics, a degree in education, race, religion, and gender, political wins, and governments. Now, it's not supposed to be, but that's the way it is. When you become an entrepreneur and you take control over your income, you can go as far as you want. And that's what we're going to show you how to do in this seminar coming up March 29th, 30th, and 31st. So if you want to learn how to earn and learn the tricks and the trade that I and thousands of other people have done over the last 9 years at TerryWilson3.com, then come to that. You can get free tickets by joining as an elite member, and we show you how to do that over in episode 300 if you want to watch that, and that's the better deal. But if you don't want to do that, you can just buy tickets as well, and there's a link to this particular podcast in the show notes where you can get that. Listen, I was talking to a great friend of mine just the other day, and he's in management, and he was doing an evaluation. He wanted to do an evaluation for an employee that they have had some issues with, not all bad, but not hitting the metrics that they had set before this particular employee. And when it came to the evaluation, it was him and another management member of the team that was doing the eval for this particular employee, and she just did not accept the results, didn't accept what they were saying, didn't accept the fact that she had some changes that need to be made. And I was in talking to him, it just reminded me, we live in a world, in a society that, people just expect things to just be handed to them, that they don't have to work for it necessarily. Now it doesn't matter what the race is, religion is, gender is, that's inside all of us. We all want the path of least resistance. But I want to tell you, if you've got a hunger, I love that passage where it said, blessed are those who hunger and thirst. If you're hungry, then all it requires is some tools and some training. And you can go as far as you want in business and in life. Like I said, entrepreneurialism is the great equalizer. And you can really go as far as you want. It just takes a few things. And about going on 3 years ago now, we did a training called Discover the Power to Prosper. And I thought it'd be a great episode here just to play that training for you. I think you're going to get a lot out of it, because there are some things that if you will put in place, I'm telling you, you can earn as much as you want. We've had reps just this past month, and we put it on our website. I think it's on the post where I said, are you reaching your full potential in your career? And I'll actually post it to this or link it to this particular podcast in the show notes. But and it just shows a snapshot of their earnings that particular month. $50,000, over $50,000 in earned income just in a month of December, which typically is a slow month because it's the month where everybody's doing Christmas shopping and everything else. And so selling coaching packages and selling membership packages and selling training and selling software and selling marketing systems and selling all these things for business and entrepreneurialism, sometimes that's not the greatest time of the year because everybody's spending their money elsewhere. If you can make $50,000 in 1 month online, through passive and active income in a bad time of the year, then what are you waiting on? There's no difference between those people that are making that and anyone else, except taking the time to learn a skill set, change a mindset, and engage in a process that works. You can have the power to prosper in 2018, and I want to play you this training right now. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's webinar, where we're going to try our best. What we are motivated to do more than anything else tonight is to show you how you can discover the power to prosper. That is how you can grab a hold of some not only just good ideas, not just positive thinking, not just good energy, which we hope and pray that we can give you that tonight, but more than anything, we can give you some tangible strategies, tangible ways that you're going to be able to grab a hold of and make your life more prosperous. But before I get started, I always like to offer some giveaways and promotions and things of that nature because, quite frankly, you are taking time tonight to come and check us out, see what we're about, take some training from us. Whatever your motive for being here tonight, it's costing you time to be here, and I think time is the most precious asset you and I have been afforded by our Creator, and I, quite frankly, never want to be accused of wasting anyone else's time. People that work with me in business and have worked with me in ministry and have done different things will tell you one thing about Terry Wilson. He is a stickler, for punctuality. Matter of fact, my grandfather used to tell me that the sole litmus test of a man's character is his punctuality. And the reason is because it shows honor to other people, that you value them and you value their time. So for you to be here tonight, I want to first and foremost tell you I really appreciate it. And what I want to do is do a little bit of you helping me and me helping you. If you will go to my Facebook page, and you can go there by going to terrywilson3.com and clicking on the Facebook icon, you will see the logo for tonight's webinar, which is Discover the Power to Prosper. All I want you to do is just share that with your friends, because when they share that, they're actually going to see a recording of tonight's webinar where they can look and see if this is of any value to them. And listen, you don't have to commit to doing that right now. You might want to make sure it's a good webinar before you share it with your friends. But if you do find value in it, and you do think it would be something that your friends and your Facebook colleagues would see some type of way of helping and improving and adding value to their life, I would greatly appreciate it. And for everyone that shares that, I send them a private little PM or a private message through Facebook with a link that's going to give them some opportunities to get different free books, ebooks, software, and different things, whatever promotion we're running at the time. We always want to give something away. And I think we even have a biz kit package or a resource guide that we're actually giving away here lately. So that will probably be in tonight's giveaway. So if you're watching this on a recording, it's going to be something of value. I promise you it won't be some gimmicky just giveaway. The thing about the books, just real quickly, if we give you a free audiobook away from Amazon, which is Audible, the way it works is you get to try them out for a month for free. And then, of course, they want you to stay with them. And they want to start charging you $19 per month. But for trying them out through our link, they give you and give all of our listeners, whether you're on my podcast, webinar, or one of my blogs, they give everyone that I send them a free opportunity to try them out for free, number one. And number two, get a free download, whether they stick with their service or not. So if you're a fan of John Maxwell or Zig Ziglar or Les Brown or T.D. Jakes or Joel Osteen, whoever you like to listen to, whoever motivates you, whoever, Jim Rowan, whoever your favorite author is, they've got over 700,000 titles. And we like to give them away because I believe if you want to go to the next level, you have to grow to the next level. And the only way to do that is just feed your soul with positive, inspiring information that you can literally act on. A lot of times people ask me, well, Terry, why would I even listen to you? I mean, who are you? And so I always like to take 2 minutes just to tell you how I got started. Back when I was just a wee little child, a teenager, my first job that was outside of working for family was actually working at a fast food restaurant. And a kairos moment, and that's a Greek word, which means a divine moment in time, happened to me back when I was working the front counter at a McDonald's in Western North Carolina. The gentleman had walked in. His name was Larry Reichard, and he looked at me real oddly, real strange. I don't know why. Now I know why. I believe it was providence. I believe it was a divine moment. That's why I call it a kairos moment. But at the time as a kid, I didn't understand what was going on. I'm just trying to do my job, make my minimum wage, make enough to make my car payments because I'm a kid in high school with a car. He looked at me real odd, and he said, you are worth more than what they are paying you. And when he said that, it made me feel awkward. It made me feel strange. Felt weird. I was like, what is this dude's problem? What's this guy smoking is what my initial reaction was. And he kept looking at me with that look that Larry, that those who knew him had. And I finally, to shake him off and to get out of the conversation, if you will, after saying I appreciate it and thank you, and he kept saying, no, I'm serious, you are worth. And finally I said, well, I know that, and I'm glad you know that, but you need to tell her that. And I was pointing at, of course, my manager, and he looked at me and he said, it's not her problem nor her job, both morally, legally, or ethically, to pay you any more than what she has to make a profit for this business. It's her job just to run the business as efficiently as possible. It's your job to make decisions in life that's going to make you more profitable, to make you a better person. And so I said, well, thank you. And so he went on and went into the dining room area of that McDonald's there. And I was going on my lunch break. I was walking by him, and I just so it wouldn't be awkward, I said, I really appreciate what you had to say. And I kept walking. And he says, do you have time to sit down and talk with me? And so I said, well, what's the worst that could happen? I'm out here in front of everyone. So if he's a weirdo, nothing can happen. That was my mindset at that time. And so I sat down with him, and he got to talking to me, and he recruited me into what I didn't know at the time, but eventually would be not only a career, but a passion, and not only a passion, but a purpose. And that was, he recruited me initially got me into a direct sales business that was where I went around and sold waterless stainless steel cookware to people. The gentleman that recruited him into the business back in the late 50s, early 60s was a guy named Zig Ziglar. Some of you might have heard of. And he felt like that it was divine providence that he had met Zig Ziglar. And he had been thinking and praying and asking the good Lord above, if I'm ever given the opportunity to sow everything that Zig has taught me and everything I know about business into someone else, let me know. And so as a freshman in high school, I got recruited into working for myself as an entrepreneur, working with a man that had a lot of wealth of knowledge of not only business, but how to be a man, how to be a business person, how to do things ethically, how to communicate with people that will give them value, whether they buy anything or not. All of these principles that I try my best to live by, he gave me. And so that's how I got started. And I went from there to working as a independent sales rep for companies, to starting my own business, into losing and going bankrupt in 2008 because one of the businesses I owned, or two of them, was tied directly to the housing market. I became a millionaire before I was age 30, had 22 employees, 5 different warehouses, doing really well for myself. And then when the housing market went under in the great, quote unquote, Great Recession of 2008, it pulled me under with it. And so fast forward, I had to learn a new gig. I had to get into a new industry, and that put me into insurance and direct sales again. Wasn't a wholesaler anymore. And through that process, met some other people that had developed software and systems that said, hey, you need to use this for your financial planning business, your insurance business, your coaching business. And I did that. And long or the short, I became one of the top producers for many different companies like Foresters and other companies, to where I was having insurance agents and reps come to me and say, how are you winning all these trips? How are you doing this? Especially when the recession is still in effect and the economy is still terrible. And we, every time we look at your Facebook page or your LinkedIn page, you're in some exotic area. And so I said, well, if you come into our agency, I'll show you. And so I started recruiting agents, and then one thing led to the other. And now I decided, the what we teach, what we train, and the software and the systems that we use is not just for people in insurance, real estate. It could be for real estate. It could be for retail. It could be any direct sales. It could be for churches and ministries. It could be for schools. Anybody that needs to be able to get in front of more people to offer their goods, their product and services, we had a system for. And then that developed into our referral marketing package, where we would work with reps that said, Terry, I don't even have anything to sell. I'm not in insurance. I'm not in real estate. I'm not in, and some of that kind of stuff turns me off. I got recruited one time to get into this business, and I was supposed to recruit my friends, my family, and my foes, and sell them these potions, these lotions, these thrills, and these pills. And Terry, it was just a bad experience. And I understand that. And I will tell you, any real business opportunity has to have real assets. And real assets to me in business is tools, training, and technology. And if you don't have those 3 key elements in a business, you're not going to be profitable in today's world. So today, I want to take the next few moments, and I want to talk to you about the power you have to become prosperous, the power you have to become profitable, the power that only you have that can be used for you. And that power is so simple that when I say it at first, your first reaction, it could be a whole range of emotions, like that's oversimplistic, that's goofy, that's insulting. Some of you might even be insulted with what I'm about to tell you. It's insensitive. Some of you are going to say it's just that you don't understand my situation. There's a whole range. So I want to prepare you to understand that what I'm about to show you, I'm going to bring context to, so don't initially just go crazy with me. But it literally is the one power that you have, that the universe has given you, that only you have, to be able to gain wealth. And that power is simply the ability to make decisions. And that is the truth. Only you have the power to decide for you. Now, you might not like that. It might seem insensitive because I when I teach this and I train on this at times with people, no matter what the context, whether it be in business or ministry, the one reaction I want, you don't understand, Terry. This happened to me. This happened to me. And let me just be real clear here. Everyone has had something unfair, unjust, undeserved happen to them. No one gets out of this world alive. This world is tough. This world will beat you down and keep you down if you let it. But the fact of the matter is, it's not about has something bad happened to you, because I can tell you with assurance, I've been in business long enough. I've been around people long enough. I've had my own experiences. I can tell you, yes, you have had a boss that stinks. You've had family members that might have, listen, I work with guys that have gone into business with other family members and their own flesh and blood has robbed from them. It left them broke, busted, and disgusted because of bad business dealings. But the fact of the matter is, you have the power to decide, is that going to make you or going to break you? Is it going to make you better or is it going to make you bitter? Is it going to be the very tool that you use to climb out of the ditch you've been put in? Or are you just going to use that tool to keep digging a ditch and singing, woe is me? Now, listen, I'm not being insensitive when I say that. And I don't mean to be insulting. All I'm saying is, until you really grab a hold of that truth, then you are always going to be a victim of circumstance. And you cannot have the power to gain wealth. You cannot have the power to be more profitable in your business until you start owning your destiny. And until you start saying, I have a vote in this matter. Yeah, this happened and it's not right. Yeah, this happened and it was undeserved. But I choose, as far as me, my business, and my house, this is how we're going to respond. And this is what we're going to do. Okay? So grab a hold of that truth, because I promise you this. It is both biologically, theologically, philosophically, psychologically, and economically sound. You won't talk to any financial advisor. You won't talk to any scientist, theologian, or philosopher or psychiatrist that will tell you any different. The fact of the matter is, we all have choices in life, and we all have the power to decide, what are we going to do? The reason I dropped out of school when I was in college and I did not complete my college education is because I decided that. Why do some people decide to live here, do this, or do that? Why and what makes people decide what college to attend, what career to pursue, what challenges are they willing to accept and go for, and which challenges in life do they avoid like the plague? What will they actually commit to? See, we all have decisions in life and in business, and you can say, Terry, I'm here tonight to talk about your business opportunity or hear about your software, and I promise you I'm going to get there. But let me tell you something. I have been doing this for years now, and one of the things I have discovered about people is this. I can equip them with the exact same software that I have. I can equip you with the exact same methodology and training. In other words, the strategies of how I use this system, how I use this particular technology, how I engage in this particular industry or this business or this business or this business. I can give you all of that. But until you grab a hold of some things that I call the inner game, it will literally just be a setup. And what I mean by that is you will still walk away saying, this don't work. That don't work. And the fact of the matter is, what I'm offering you tonight, guys, what I offer any of my clients, what any of my reps have is nothing more than a tool. And for some people, you give them a hammer, they'll barely be able to put up a tree house. And for others, they'll build a $30 million mansion. And it is not a reflection on that tool, no matter what is built. It is a reflection on the hand that held that hammer. And so what I want to work on in any of my webinars from 2 or 3 back going forward is I want to give a strong foundation, a strong inner game that says, I want to work on me. And as I work on me, I'm going to have these tools that I can apply of what I'm learning and how I can move forward and be profitable, how I can be prosperous, how I don't have to be a victim of life anymore. I am where I am. I went to school where I went to school. I'm in the career path I'm in because I have chosen. I want to work with you tonight on why and what guides your decisions. There's really only 2 things, and if you'll understand this, you will start making better choices. Most people don't understand why they make the decisions they do. They really don't. It's on a subconscious level, and most people never take the time to analyze, why am I deciding not to do this business or to do this business? Why am I deciding in my business to spend this much time or not spend this much time? I want to give you the underlying current of why you decide what you decide. There's only 2 reasons that guides and applies pressure to you on a subconscious level to make decisions. The first one is your pain, and the second one is pleasure. You are going to decide, hey, the reason, why I got into doing what I'm doing now, and why after I lost my business in 2008, I was given a salary opportunity to go to work with a Fortune 500 company and do sales training, be over a certain division. I mean, they was offering me all kinds of stuff, a guaranteed 6-figure salary, this, that, and the other. And I didn't take it, even though at the time I wasn't making but $24,000 to $30,000 after I lost all that and got back into just selling straight up insurance for a while, just as an individual producer. My first year of doing that was rough. I mean, I went from making really good money to barely making it. Okay. And I had this opportunity and I almost took it, but the reason I didn't was this: the pain that I could imagine of what it's like to have to ask, hey, can I have time off because I want to go do this with my family? Hey, can I do this because I want to do this? Hey, I'd rather work from home or work in a home rather than having to commute 4 hours, and be there three out of 7 days of a week because the head office, I had to be 4 hours away from my home. So I'd have to live there and then come back. I was on a subconscious level, I was feeling emotionally dejected from that opportunity because it just didn't feel right. As I break it down and I think about it, the reason it didn't feel right is because the pain points that it was offering me was way higher than the pleasure I was going to get from, well, at least I got a guaranteed salary. Now, most people think right opposite. Most people would say, hey, I got this guarantee. It's this much. I'll put up with driving. I'll put up with the travel time. I'll put up with having to go in and say, hey, can I have a raise? Or, hey, can I have time off because I'd like to do this? Hey, can I do this? Can I do this? In other words, the problem I had was the actual reason why I was able to bounce back, because I had tasted what it was like to be your own boss. Most people, if you've never had that taste in your mouth of being the captain of your ship, not having to ever go in and ask someone for a raise, not ever having to ever go in and ask for time off, never ever having to explain why it's not convenient for you to drive to this, and the other, or never having to worry about, traffic jams and getting there at a certain time and all that. I never had to be conditioned to be that's acceptable, right? And so it was easier for me. But for a lot of people, their minds have been in their business experiences have been conditioned to the point, hey, well, I'll put up with this, I'll put up with this, I'll put up with this because my pleasure point is I want this. And the reason why they can see it that way is because they don't believe they can make it on their own. They don't think that I could actually stand on my own. So the fear and the pain of the idea of, hey, I could lose this, I could go weeks without getting paid, I could do this. Man, that's such a high pain point in their mind that telling them, hey, you literally, once you learn how to do this, could go from making $400 a day to $1,500 a day, from $1,500 a day to $2,500 a day. And so to that mindset, it just sounds like pie in the sky. It just sounds like, here's just one more thing either on the internet or on a seminar or on a podcast that just isn't for me. Let me explain something to you tonight, folks. You can decide that, hey, I'm not here right now, Terry. My pain level of fearing to go into some sort of entrepreneurial thing is not there. It's just not. Well, what you need to do is not go in head first. You need to dip your toes in the water. Say, I'm gonna do this on a part-time basis. I'm gonna do this just on a weekend basis. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna spend whatever. Guys, I'm not trying to sell you anything tonight, but I am trying to convince you to do one thing, and that's to take action. When I talk to most people, and you talk to them about money, you talk to them about income, you talk to them about, hey, if I ask anyone in this audience tonight, would you like to make a 6 to 7 figure income? You would have to be crazy, unless you're a millionaire now, to say no. There's no reason why anybody would say no to that. If I asked you, would you like to make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year? Would you like to start bumping $1 million a year? Everyone would say, well, of course. But when I ask the second question, that's when it's going to get rough. And the question is, do you expect to make 6 to a 7-figure income? Because dreams, wishes will show up in the way we speak and what we say. But expectations shows up in the decisions and the actions we make. You see, I can tell you I want to make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 a year. Or I can show you that I'm expecting to make it because I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm investing money in this, I'm investing time in this, I'm investing energy in this, I'm willing to put up with this pain point. Now, Dave Ramsey's got a great saying. He says, I'm willing to do what no one else will do today so I can live like no one else tomorrow. And a question I'm going to ask you guys tonight at the end of the program is just decide and be happy with the decision. Whether you do anything with me or not, decide, yes, I'm going to do something or I want something. Decide from I want to this is what I'm going to do because I expect. Because there's a world of difference. There's 3 decisions that control your destiny. What you focus on, what things mean to you, and what to do to create results. See, most people are caught up in I call the river syndrome. And the river syndrome is simply this. They're caught up in the current events, they're caught up in current fears, and they're caught up in current challenges. They're just going wherever the stream takes them. And I want to tell you about a guy named Ed Roberts. If he was caught up in the river syndrome, you would never see a access ramp to any building. You would never see safety rails going up any steps, any restrooms. Because, see, Ed Roberts was born a paraplegic in California years ago, back in the 50s. And at that time, no paraplegic had ever gone to a high university or anything. And he was told that he couldn't. He'd have to live on a lung machine. He would do this. Everything he was told he couldn't do, he overcame. To the point he ended up graduating with honors from Berkeley University. And the fact that you can see access ramps today, the fact that you can see a lot of things that are in place to help people that are in wheelchairs and need access, is because of one man named Ed Roberts that decided this is what I'm going to focus on, this is what I'm going to believe about what I focus on, and these are the action steps I'm going to take based on that information. You see, I said at the very beginning, everyone has had something that just happened to them, not because of any deserving on their part. Everyone. This man didn't deserve to be paraplegic, but he could focus on what his shortcomings were. He could focus on what his challenges were. He could then decide what they meant to him, and then because of that, he could decide this is the action steps I'm going to be resolved to because of it. Or he could take the power that he's been given and say, this is what I decide to focus on. This is what I decide it means to me, and this is what I decide to do about it. Those 3 decisions that you make will determine where you end up in life. Those 3 decisions you make this week will determine what kind of week you have. It's not outside of your control to decide what kind of week, what kind of day, what kind of life, what kind of income, what kind of career, what kind of relationships you're going to have. The formula for success is really not that complicated. Matter of fact, it's so simple that most people, quite frankly, just overlook it. The formula for success is basically decide what you want. What do you want? What do you want in your career? What do you want in your life? What do you want in your business? What do you want? What do you want in sales? I did a webinar several months ago. You can look it up on my website under the webinar link. It's called How to Make $800 in a Day. And it came about because in transitioning from insurance to coaching and consulting full time, I needed to decide what could I do to make this kind of income. I wanted to make $800 to $1,000 a day. That was my income goal. And so that's what I wanted. And then the next thing I did is I took action. And so I broke it down. If I need to sell this amount to be able to produce this kind of income. And so I just reversed engineer it. Well, if I need to sell this amount, how many people do I need to buy? And out of how many people do I need to buy tells me how many people I need to get in front of. So if I'm using my system, my platform that I have, it will tell me, and I take notes of what's working and what's not, to the point where I can guarantee if I call 1,000 people, I'm going to get a 2.5-3% response. So I know every time I call 1,000 people, I'm going to get 25 to 30 people responding. And if I have 25 to 30 people responding, I'm going to close blah, 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 blah. And if I close blah, 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 I'm going to make this. So I decided what I want. I took action. I noted what was working and what was not. I had to constantly modify who am I calling? What am I telling them? What am I saying? What am I offering? And I modulate until I get the results I want. The formula for success in business and in life really is so simple that most people overlook it and never engage it. You have the power to make a decision tonight. I'm going to decide for myself what I want. Then I'm going to take action. And then I'm going to note what's working and what's not, and I'm going to modulate until I get the results I want. That's all you have to do to be successful. Well, I'm going to have to cut the training off right there because of time, and it gets into some other things that probably wouldn't be apropos at this point. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it gave you some tips and tidbits on how you can take your money, your business, your life to new levels this year. All you have to do is make a decision and go after it. And don't be afraid. Don't be timid, and don't set yourself up for frustration. Mindset is the key to success. If you expect to be a millionaire next week, you are going to be frustrated. If you expect, that you can make money with no activity, you are going to be frustrated. Activity drives results. Better activity drives better results. Give yourself the right to expect more. The way you do that is to engage in better, more prosperous strategies and activity. Till next time, this is Terry. Hey, remember, if you want to go to the next level, you have to grow to the next level. And that's why I want to give you a free copy of my new book, You Are Worth More. Go to terrywilson3.com/worthmore now.
Thank you for listening to our show today at terrywilson3.com. If you would like more information on how we can take your money, your business, and your life to the next level, then please visit us online at terrywilson3.com or call 800-673-1728.
Man, it's a great system here. This is good stuff here. I wish I found this company 10 years ago.